Have you ever noticed how the simplest joys in life sometimes slip away as we age? That burst of energy when you wake up in the morning, the warm connection when holding your partner's hand, the sparkle that makes intimate moments truly special. You're not imagining it, and you're certainly not alone. What if I told you that the solution might be sitting in your fruit bowl right now? Yes, three ordinary fruits that most people walk right past in the grocery store could be the key to revitalizing both your circulation and your intimate life after 60. I know it might sound too simple to be true. When my own father turned 65, he started accepting these changes as just part of getting older. The medications his doctor prescribed came with side effects that made things worse, not better. It broke my heart to see him lose his zest for life, thinking this was simply his new normal. This is the silent struggle happening in bedrooms across the country. Millions of seniors quietly accepting less energy, reduced sensation, and diminished connection, all because they believe it's inevitable. This misconception is robbing countless people of joy during what should be their golden years. But here's the truth that changed everything for my father, and could change everything for you too. Aging doesn't have to mean declining. It can simply mean adapting. In today's video, I'm going to reveal three powerful fruits backed by both ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science. These aren't exotic superfoods that cost a fortune or taste terrible. They're delicious, affordable options you probably already enjoy, but with benefits you never knew about. You'll discover how one summer fruit contains a compound that works similarly to those famous blue pills, but without the side effects. You'll learn about a tiny berry that fights the hidden inflammation that's restricting your blood flow. And I'll share the ancient fruit that kings and queens once consumed to maintain their romantic relationships well into their elder years. Stay with me until the end, because I'm also going to share a special combination method that multiplies the benefits of all three fruits, something my clients call their relationship revival recipe. If you or someone you love is over 60 and deserves to experience life's fullest pleasures again, type vibrant in the comments below. Let's create a community of people who refuse to settle for less just because of a number on their birth certificate. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Healthy Wisdom, where we share the life-changing health insights that mainstream doctors often overlook. Together, we're rewriting what it means to age with vitality, connection, and joy. Now let's talk about that first remarkable fruit that could change everything. Let me tell you about Harold, a 67-year-old retired teacher I met at one of my wellness workshops last year. Harold had always been active, coaching high school basketball for 3 decades, taking his grandkids fishing on weekends. But lately, he'd been feeling different. His energy had dwindled to the point where even a short walk left him winded. And those special moments with Margaret, his wife of 42 years, they'd become increasingly rare and, well, less satisfying for both of them. Harold assumed this was just his new reality. After all, that's what his doctor had implied during his last physical. It happens to everyone, he was told with a dismissive shrug. No solutions offered, just resignation. Then came the family reunion that changed everything. While the younger generation splashed in the lake, Harold found himself sitting in the shade with his Uncle Frank, a spirited 93-year-old who still tended his own garden and danced at every family wedding. When Harold confided his frustrations, Uncle Frank leaned in close and whispered, "Eat more watermelon, son." Harold laughed it off as old folk wisdom, but Uncle Frank wasn't joking. "I've eaten half a watermelon every week since I was your age," he insisted. "My doctor can't believe my circulation at 93. Even my cardiologist asks what my secret is." Now, was Uncle Frank onto something? Or was this just another old wives' tale? The science might surprise you. Watermelon contains a remarkable amino acid called citrulline. When you eat watermelon, this citrulline converts to another amino acid called arginine in your body. This process triggers increased production of nitric oxide, a critical molecule that signals your blood vessels to relax and expand. Think about what happens when a garden hose is kinked versus when it's fully open. That's essentially what nitric oxide does in your body. It opens up those pathways, allowing blood to flow more freely through every part of your system. And yes, I mean every part. This is precisely how many prescription medications for circulation and intimate function work. They increase nitric oxide production, but watermelon does it naturally without the headaches, facial flushing, and other uncomfortable side effects that come with those blue pills. Nature's wisdom at work. What makes watermelon even more remarkable is that this circulation-boosting effect isn't just focused on one area. The improved blood flow benefits your entire body. Your brain becomes sharper, your heart doesn't have to work as hard, and yes, those intimate areas become more responsive too. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't watermelon loaded with sugar? I've been avoiding fruit because of my blood sugar concerns. This is one of the most common misconceptions I hear, and it's robbing many seniors of watermelon's benefits. Yes, watermelon contains natural sugars, but its glycemic load is actually quite modest because it's mostly water, hence the name. For most people, the benefits far outweigh any concerns about its natural sugar content. Another mistake is thinking of watermelon as just a summer picnic treat. Today, watermelon is available year-round in most grocery stores. And if fresh isn't available, you can find frozen watermelon chunks, watermelon powder, and even watermelon extract supplements that capture the beneficial compounds. So how should you incorporate this incredible fruit into your routine? Here's what worked for Harold and what might work for you too. Try eating about 2 cups of fresh watermelon 3 to 4 times weekly. The juiciest part near the center contains the most citrulline, but don't toss that white rind. Surprisingly, the rind actually contains even more citrulline than the red flesh. Consider juicing pieces of the rind along with the red flesh for maximum benefit. If the taste of the rind doesn't appeal to you, no worries. Just eating the sweet red flesh regularly will still provide significant benefits. For convenience during off-seasons, look for watermelon extract supplements. Though, as with most nutrients, the fresh, whole food form is always best when available. Harold started with a simple routine: a bowl of watermelon chunks with breakfast 3 mornings a week. Within 3 weeks, he noticed something changing. His morning walks became easier. He had energy left over after playing with his grandkids. And those private moments with Margaret? Well, let's just say they both started looking forward to their watermelon days with a knowing smile. While watermelon works on your circulation system by relaxing and opening your blood vessels, our next fruit takes a completely different approach. It addresses something that silently restricts blood flow in almost everyone over 60, chronic inflammation. This next fruit is something you might already have in your refrigerator right now, but you've probably never realized its powerful effect on your circulation and intimate health. Let me share Martha's story with you. Martha and Robert celebrated their 42nd wedding anniversary last spring. They'd weathered life's storms together, raising 3 children, surviving a recession that nearly cost them their home, and supporting each other through the loss of parents. Their bond was unbreakable. Then Robert had his first heart attack. The cardiologist prescribed a cocktail of medications that undoubtedly saved Robert's life. His heart function improved dramatically, but there was an unspoken side effect that neither of them had anticipated: a complete loss of intimacy in their marriage. It's not just the physical aspect, Martha confided in me during one of our health seminars. It's the feeling of connection that slipped away. The gentle touch as we pass in the hallway. The lingering kiss goodnight. All of it has vanished. Martha's situation isn't unique. Cardiovascular medications, while life-saving, often impact intimate function. Doctors rarely discuss this side effect, leaving couples like Martha and Robert feeling stranded, as though they must choose between heart health and intimate connection. One afternoon while Martha was gardening, her neighbor Eleanor leaned over the fence for a chat. Eleanor, a 78-year-old retired nurse, noticed Martha seemed down and gently asked what was troubling her. After Martha hesitantly explained, Eleanor shared something surprising. "My William and I had the same issue after his bypass surgery," Eleanor confided. "Our doctor suggested we add a handful of mixed berries to our breakfast every morning. Said it was for the antioxidants, good for healing. But 3 months later, we noticed something else had healed too." Martha was skeptical, but desperate enough to try anything. She started adding a colorful mix of blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries to their morning oatmeal. Nothing dramatic happened right away. But gradually, something began to shift. 3 months later, Martha pulled me aside after our community wellness walk. With tears in her eyes and a smile that spoke volumes, she simply said, "We're us again. I didn't think it was possible, but we're us again." What happened in Martha and Robert's bodies is fascinating and backed by rigorous scientific research. Berries, especially blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries, contain remarkable compounds called anthocyanins. These are what give berries their vibrant colors, but they do far more than make berries pretty to look at. Anthocyanins are powerful anti-inflammatory agents. Now, what does inflammation have to do with circulation and intimacy? Everything. As we age, chronic inflammation silently increases throughout our bodies. Think of inflammation as a swelling that you can't necessarily see or feel. This swelling affects your blood vessels, making them narrower and less flexible. Imagine trying to run water through a pipe that's gradually becoming constricted. That's exactly what happens with blood flow as inflammation increases. Less blood reaches extremities, brain, heart, and yes, the intimate areas of your body that require robust blood flow for proper function. This is where berries work their magic. The anthocyanins in berries significantly reduce this inflammation, essentially opening up those constricted pipelines. A landmark study published in the Journal of Gerontology showed that older adults who consumed 1 cup of blueberries daily for 12 weeks experienced measurable improvements in blood vessel function and elasticity. Another study from the UK found that people who consumed mixed berries daily showed a 28% improvement in flow-mediated dilation, a scientific measure of how well your blood vessels expand and contract. This improvement happened within just 6 weeks. For context, that percentage improvement is similar to what's seen with regular moderate exercise or even some prescription medications, but without the side effects. Now, there are some critical misconceptions about berries that I need to address. The first is that you need expensive, exotic superfoods from far-flung places to get these benefits. Marketing companies would love you to believe that only goji berries from the Himalayas or acai from the Amazon have these special properties. The truth? The humble blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries at your local grocery store contain the same powerful anthocyanins. Research actually shows that wild blueberries, those small ones grown in North America, have some of the highest anthocyanin concentrations of any fruit on the planet. Another common mistake is choosing berry juices instead of whole berries. Those bottles of cranberry or blueberry juice might seem convenient, but most commercial versions contain minimal actual berry juice and are loaded with added sugars. What's more, the juicing process removes the beneficial fiber that slows sugar absorption and feeds your gut microbiome, another crucial factor in reducing inflammation. So how can you incorporate berries into your daily routine in a way that really works? First, aim for variety. Different colored berries contain different types of anthocyanins. So mix it up with blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, and raspberries for the broadest spectrum of benefits. Add about half a cup of mixed berries to your breakfast daily. Sprinkle them on cereal, blend them into a smoothie, or simply enjoy them with a dollop of yogurt. If fresh berries aren't available or are too expensive, don't worry, frozen berries are flash frozen at peak ripeness and contain the same nutritional benefits, often at a fraction of the cost. Here's something particularly interesting for those concerned about intimate function. Research suggests that the peak blood flow enhancement from berry consumption occurs approximately 60-90 minutes after eating them. This timing might be worth keeping in mind for planning special moments with your partner. For Martha and Robert, the simple addition of berries to their morning routine gradually restored not just physical intimacy, but the emotional connection that had been slipping away. The gentle touches returned, the knowing glances across the dinner table, the feeling of being truly seen by someone who loves you deeply. It wasn't an overnight miracle, Martha told me, but one day, Robert reached for my hand while we were watching TV. It was such a simple gesture, but I realized in that moment how much I'd missed his touch. From there, everything else gradually returned. While watermelon works by boosting nitric oxide production and berries fight inflammation, our third fruit combines these effects with something even more remarkable. This fruit is perhaps the most ancient remedy for intimate wellness, mentioned in texts dating back thousands of years. It was so valued that ancient royalty used it as a symbol of fertility and eternal love. Last summer, I was invited to speak at a wellness retreat in a senior living community nestled in the Arizona desert. During the lunch break, I noticed a couple sitting slightly apart from the others, holding hands and laughing together like newlyweds. What caught my attention wasn't just their obvious affection, but their radiant energy. They seemed to glow with vitality that belied their age. Their names were Joseph and Claire, both in their late 70s. Joseph had just celebrated his 79th birthday, and Claire was approaching 77. After my presentation on nutrition for longevity, Joseph approached me with a twinkle in his eye. "That was a fine talk," he said, "but you missed one of the most important foods." When I asked what he meant, Joseph glanced at Claire, who nodded with a knowing smile. He leaned in and whispered, "Pomegranates, our fountain of youth." Joseph explained that for over 15 years, they'd shared a pomegranate together every evening after dinner. They'd make an occasion of it, sitting on their patio, watching the sunset, and carefully separating the ruby-red seeds to enjoy one by one. "It started as something Claire read about in a health magazine," Joseph explained, "but we kept it up because we noticed changes." Claire blushed slightly at this, squeezing her husband's hand. At first, I wondered if this was simply a lovely ritual that had helped maintain their connection, the act of sharing something rather than the pomegranate itself. But then Joseph mentioned something that caught my professional attention. Before we started our pomegranate ritual, I was on 3 different blood pressure medications. Now I'm down to just a low dose of one. My doctor can't explain it. And our private life is as satisfying as it was in our 50s. Claire nodded in agreement. People think romance dies with age. It doesn't have to. Sometimes it just needs a little nourishment. As it happens, Joseph and Claire's experience isn't just anecdotal. The science behind pomegranates and circulatory health is some of the most compelling in nutritional research. Pomegranates contain a unique array of compounds that work together in remarkable ways. First, they're rich in punicologens and anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that protect and repair the inner lining of blood vessels, which naturally deteriorates as we age. These compounds also boost nitric oxide production, similar to watermelon, but through a different biochemical pathway. While watermelon provides the building blocks for nitric oxide, pomegranates protect the nitric oxide that's already in your system from breaking down too quickly. This 1-2 punch creates more sustained improvements in blood flow. A groundbreaking study from 2007 conducted at the University of California found that drinking pomegranate juice improved blood flow by 17% in participants with circulation issues. To put that in perspective, that's comparable to the improvement seen with some prescription medications, but without the side effects. What's particularly interesting about pomegranates is their effect on hormones. As we age, testosterone levels naturally decline in both men and women. Many people don't realize that women produce testosterone too, just in smaller amounts. This hormone is crucial not just for physical function, but for desire and satisfaction as well. Research published in the International Journal of Impotence Research found that pomegranate consumption naturally increased testosterone levels and improved erectile function in male participants. For women, these hormonal benefits translate to increased sensitivity and desire, something Claire delicately alluded to in our conversation. But pomegranates offer another benefit that's particularly important for intimate health. They're one of the few foods that have been shown to improve mood and reduce anxiety. A study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that pomegranate extract had anti-anxiety effects comparable to diazepam, commonly known as Valium, but without the sedative side effects or addiction potential. This mood-enhancing quality is important because stress and anxiety are among the biggest barriers to intimate connection, especially as we navigate the changes and challenges that come with aging. Now, despite all these remarkable benefits, pomegranates remain one of the most overlooked fruits in American diets. There are several misconceptions that keep people from enjoying them. The first is that pomegranates are too difficult to eat or too messy. Many people have memories of stained clothing or countertops from a pomegranate mishap in the past. Others find the process of extracting the seeds tedious and not worth the effort. Another common misconception is that bottled pomegranate juice provides the same benefits as the fresh fruit. While high-quality 100% pomegranate juice does retain many of the beneficial compounds, many commercial versions are significantly diluted with apple or grape juice and contain added sugars. Plus, the fresh seeds provide valuable fiber that the juice lacks. Some people also believe that pomegranates are a seasonal luxury that's only available for a short time each year. While it's true that fresh pomegranates typically appear in stores from October to January in North America, their benefits can be enjoyed year-round through properly stored frozen seeds or high-quality supplements. So how can you incorporate this ancient fruit into your daily routine? If fresh pomegranates are available, aim to enjoy about a quarter of a pomegranate daily. Joseph and Claire's evening ritual of sharing a whole pomegranate is lovely, but even a smaller portion provides significant benefits. For those concerned about the mess or difficulty, here's the simplest method I've found for opening a pomegranate. Score the fruit into quarters with a knife, then submerge the sections in a bowl of water while you separate the seeds. The seeds sink to the bottom while the bitter white membrane floats to the top. Strain, and you have perfect, mess-free pomegranate seeds. When fresh isn't available, look for 100% pomegranate juice with no added sugars. About 4 ounces daily is sufficient. Alternatively, pomegranate extract supplements containing around 500 milliliters of standardized extract can provide consistent benefits year-round. For Joseph and Claire, their evening pomegranate ritual became more than just a health practice. It evolved into a symbol of their commitment to nurturing their relationship. The intentional act of sharing this fruit of love, as it's been called throughout history, became a daily renewal of their connection. Some couples our age barely touch anymore, Claire told me as we parted. They've forgotten how wonderful it feels to be close. The pomegranate reminds us to prioritize that connection and gives our bodies the support they need to enjoy it. Now that you know these 3 powerful fruits individually, watermelon with its vessel-relaxing citrulline, berries with their inflammation-fighting anthocyanins, and pomegranate with its nitric oxide-boosting compounds and hormonal support, I want to share how combining them creates something even more powerful. My clients call it the Relationship Revival Smoothie, and it's transformed countless relationships among the couples I've worked with. When it comes to natural approaches to health, I've discovered something fascinating over my years of working with seniors. Sometimes the whole truly is greater than the sum of its parts. While each of these fruits offers remarkable benefits on their own, combining them strategically creates a synergy that amplifies their effects dramatically. Think about it this way: watermelon relaxes and opens your blood vessels, berries reduce the inflammation that's constricting those vessels, and pomegranate not only enhances blood flow, but also supports the hormonal balance needed for desire and satisfaction. When used together, they address every aspect of circulatory and intimate health. I developed what I call the 3-fruit strategy after working with George and Elaine, a couple in their mid-60s who had tried everything to recapture their connection. Prescription medications had caused troubling side effects for George, and Elaine felt that her own needs were being overlooked entirely by their doctor, who seemed to focus solely on mechanical function rather than the emotional aspects of intimacy. "We don't just want a technical solution," Elaine confided. "We want to feel that spark again, that warmth that comes from deep connection." We started with a simple daily routine that incorporated all 3 fruits in a way that was both practical and effective. Here's what worked for them, and what might work for you too. Begin your day with a small bowl of mixed berries. About half a cup is perfect. The anthocyanins in these berries start working immediately to reduce inflammation throughout your circulatory system, creating the foundation for improved blood flow all day long. Think of it as clearing the pathways first thing in the morning. George would add his berries to his oatmeal, while Elaine preferred hers with a dollop of Greek yogurt. The protein paired with the berries helps stabilize blood sugar, giving you sustained energy rather than a spike and crash. In the mid-afternoon, when many of us experience that energy dip, reach for watermelon instead of coffee or sugary snacks. About 2 cups of fresh watermelon chunks provides just the right amount of citrulline to give your circulation a gentle boost. This afternoon, timing is strategic. The citrulline takes a few hours to fully convert and reach peak effectiveness in your system, perfectly timing its benefits for evening hours. Finally, in the evening, share a pomegranate with your partner as Joseph and Claire do. This isn't just nutritionally sound, it's emotionally intelligent as well. The act of sharing this fruit, feeding each other the ruby red seeds perhaps, becomes a moment of connection itself. The compounds in pomegranate work quickly, often peaking in effectiveness within an hour of consumption. This 3-part daily routine is simple enough to maintain long-term, which is crucial because consistency matters far more than quantity when it comes to these natural approaches. A small amount of each fruit consumed regularly will create more lasting improvements than occasional large servings. But for those special occasions when you want to really maximize benefits, I've developed what my clients affectionately call the Relationship Revival Smoothie. This simple blend combines all 3 fruits into one delicious drink that you can prepare together as part of your intimate ritual. Here's the recipe that transformed life for dozens of couples I've worked with. Start with 1 cup of fresh watermelon chunks, and yes, include a small piece of the white rind near the red flesh, as it contains the highest concentration of citrulline. Add half a cup of mixed berries, ideally a combination of blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries for the broadest spectrum of anti-inflammatory compounds. Then add 2 tablespoons of fresh pomegranate seeds. If pomegranates aren't in season, 2 ounces of pure pomegranate juice can substitute, though the fresh seeds are preferable for their fiber content. The secret ingredient that ties everything together is a small piece of fresh ginger, about the size of your thumbnail. Ginger is a powerful circulation booster in its own right, containing compounds that warm the body by expanding blood vessels and increasing blood flow to the extremities. It also adds a pleasant warmth and zing to the smoothie. Blend these ingredients with about a 1/4 cup of water, just enough to create a smooth consistency without diluting the potent compounds. For sweetness, you might add a small drizzle of honey, though most find the natural sweetness of the fruit sufficient. Share the smoothie twice weekly, perhaps on weekend evenings when you have time to fully connect without the pressures of work or other obligations. Aim to enjoy it about an hour before intimate time together, allowing the beneficial compounds to reach peak effectiveness in your system. What makes this combination particularly powerful is how these fruits complement each other biochemically. The vitamin C in berries actually enhances your body's absorption of the compounds in watermelon. Meanwhile, the ellagic acid in pomegranates prolongs the effects of the nitric oxide boost from watermelon. It's like each fruit amplifies the other's benefits in a beautiful harmony of nature's design. When George and Elaine committed to this routine for just 3 weeks, they noticed profound changes, not just physically, but emotionally as well. It's become our special ritual, Elaine shared. Preparing the smoothie together on Saturday evenings has become this lovely prelude to connection. We talk while we're chopping the fruits, laughing and touching hands as we work. By the time we actually drink it, we're already feeling more connected. George added, "I was skeptical at first. How could fruit do what expensive medications couldn't? But there's something different about this approach. It's gentle yet effective. And there's a wholeness to it. It's not just addressing the physical aspects, but somehow nurturing our bond too." What George intuited is something science has begun to validate. These fruits don't just affect blood flow, they influence mood, energy, and even the subtle hormonal dance that underlies desire and connection. Remember that consistency matters more than quantity. These fruits work gradually, supporting your body's natural processes rather than forcing an immediate result like some medications do. This gentler approach typically means no side effects, just a progressive restoration of what was always meant to be. Start with just 1 fruit if incorporating all 3 seems overwhelming. Many of my clients begin with daily berries, then add the others as they establish the routine. Even this gradual approach yields noticeable improvements within a few weeks. The beauty of this strategy is its simplicity. No expensive supplements or complicated regimens. Just delicious, accessible fruits that have been part of the human diet for thousands of years. Nature, in her wisdom, has provided everything we need to maintain vitality and connection at every stage of life. Now that you understand how these 3 remarkable fruits can transform circulation and intimacy after 60, let's talk about the emotional journey that often accompanies these physical changes. I want to pause for a moment and acknowledge something important. Talking about intimacy, especially at this stage of life, can feel uncomfortable. Many of you were raised in generations where these topics weren't openly discussed, where physical connection was something that happened behind firmly closed doors and certainly wasn't mentioned in polite conversation. I remember visiting my grandmother in her nursing home when I was in my 20s. She had been widowed for several years, and I noticed how the staff treated her and all the residents as though they were somehow beyond the need for touch, for tenderness, for the warmth of skin against skin. They were well cared for medically, but something fundamental was missing in how they were seen. One afternoon, I found my grandmother crying softly in her room. When I asked what was wrong, she whispered something I'll never forget. "No one touches me anymore. Not really. They help me bathe and dress, but no one holds my hand just to hold it. I've become invisible." That moment changed how I understand aging and connection. And over my years working with seniors, I've witnessed the emotional toll that physical disconnection takes on relationships and individuals. There's a silent drift that happens when touch diminishes, a gradual distancing that often goes unacknowledged until the gap feels too wide to cross. I've sat with couples married for decades who sleep with a canyon of cold sheets between them, not because love has faded, but because physical challenges have created walls they don't know how to scale. I've listened to individuals describe the grief of feeling desire, but believing their bodies have betrayed them, or worse, feeling they must suppress natural longing because society has deemed it inappropriate for people their age. The loss isn't just physical. When intimate connection fades, something precious often goes with it. The whispered confidences that come in close moments, the vulnerability of being truly seen, the deep knowing that comes from physical and emotional communion. This disconnection contributes to depression, anxiety, and a diminished sense of self-worth that no medication can adequately address. Yet doctors rarely ask about intimate health during checkups with older patients, as though this fundamental aspect of human experience has an expiration date. What's beautiful about the wisdom I'm sharing today is that it's not about reclaiming youth or chasing some idealized past version of ourselves. I'm not suggesting we deny the reality of our changing bodies or the passage of time. Quite the opposite. This approach is about honoring this precise stage of life with all the connection and vitality it deserves. It's about recognizing that intimate connection at 60, 70, or 80 isn't supposed to look or feel the same as it did at 20 or 30. And that's not just okay. It can be wonderful in entirely new ways. These fruits don't just improve physical intimacy, they nourish the heart-to-heart connection that becomes even more precious with time. They support the kind of intimacy that's informed by decades of shared history, by knowing glances that speak volumes, by touches that carry the weight of countless memories. Diane, a 73-year-old client, described it perfectly after incorporating these fruits into her routine with her husband of 51 years. Our intimate life isn't about performance anymore. It's about presence. These changes have helped us slow down, be more mindful with each other. We're more playful, more appreciative of simple touch. In some ways, it's more fulfilling now than when we were younger and everything was rushed. This is the gift of intimate health in later years. The opportunity to connect with unhurried tenderness, with the wisdom that comes from a lifetime of loving. It's a kind of intimacy that young couples, for all their physical prowess, can only aspire to. I invite you to choose just one of these fruits to incorporate into your routine this week. Perhaps start with the berries. Add them to your breakfast. Notice their sweetness, their vibrant color. Be intentional as you eat them, remembering their purpose. Notice how you feel in the days that follow. And perhaps more importantly, notice how your relationship feels. Does your hand reach for your partner's more readily? Do you linger a moment longer in an embrace? Do you feel more present in your body, more aware of sensations? These small, consistent choices create profound changes over time. The body responds to gentle, persistent nourishment in ways it cannot respond to occasional dramatic interventions. This is true of physical health, and it's equally true of intimate connection. I want to offer you reassurance as you begin this journey. Remember that ebbs and flows in energy and intimacy are normal at every age. There will be days when you feel more connected, more vital, and days when fatigue or stress temporarily dims that light. This doesn't mean the approach isn't working. It means you're beautifully, imperfectly human. These natural solutions work gradually and gently, supporting your body's innate wisdom rather than forcing results. They honor the natural rhythms of your system rather than overriding them. Be patient with yourself and your partner as you explore this journey together. Ernest and Ruth, both in their early 80s, began incorporating watermelon and berries into their diet after hearing me speak at their retirement community. When I returned 6 months later, Ernest pulled me aside. "It was slow at first," he said. "So slow we almost gave up. But by the third week, we started noticing little changes. More energy throughout the day, better sleep, and then one morning, I reached for Ruth's hand during our walk, and she squeezed mine in that special way she used to. We didn't even need words." Ruth, overhearing, added with a twinkle in her eye, "The changes in the bedroom have been lovely too. But honestly, it's all the moments in between that matter most. Feeling connected throughout the day, being present with each other." That's the real miracle. This is the deeper truth about intimate health as we age. It's not merely about function, it's about connection in its fullest sense. The physical aspects matter, yes, but they're part of a broader tapestry of touch, presence, and loving attention that these fruits help to restore. You deserve this connection. Your relationship deserves this nourishment. And contrary to what our youth-obsessed culture might suggest, there is no age at which the need for loving touch, for closeness, for the joy of physical connection becomes inappropriate or unimportant. In fact, research suggests that maintaining intimate connection as we age is associated with better cognitive function, lower rates of depression, reduced chronic pain, and even longer lifespans. Your body knows this wisdom already. It's our cultural narratives that need updating. So as you consider incorporating these fruits into your routine, know that you're not just supporting physical function, you're honoring your right to wholeness, to connection, to joy at every stage of life. And that might be the most powerful medicine of all. Now let me share a few final thoughts on how to bring these insights into your daily life. As we begin to wrap up our time together, let's take a moment to review what we've discovered. We've explored 3 remarkable fruits that can naturally enhance circulation and intimacy after 60, each working in its own unique way to support your body's natural wisdom. First, watermelon with its vessel-relaxing citrulline that converts to arginine and boosts nitric oxide production. Nature's own circulation enhancer that works without the side effects of prescription medications. Remember Harold, who reclaimed his energy and connection with Margaret through this simple summer fruit. Second, those vibrant berries with their inflammation-fighting anthocyanins that reduce the silent swelling in blood vessels that restricts flow throughout your body. Martha and Robert found that this simple addition to their breakfast routine gradually restored not just physical intimacy, but the emotional connection that medication side effects had dimmed. And finally, pomegranate, perhaps the most ancient remedy for intimate wellness, with its unique compounds that both boost nitric oxide production and provide natural hormonal support, crucial for desire and satisfaction. Joseph and Claire's evening ritual of sharing this fruit of love has maintained their vibrant connection well into their late 70s. Each of these fruits offers profound benefits on its own. Combined in the Relationship Revival Smoothie, they create a synergy that addresses every aspect of circulatory and intimate health, a natural approach that honors your body's wisdom rather than overriding it. I'm curious, which of these 3 fruits are you most excited to incorporate into your routine? Perhaps you're drawn to the simplicity of adding berries to your breakfast, or maybe the romantic ritual of sharing a pomegranate in the evening appeals to you and your partner. Or have you already experienced benefits from any of these fruits without realizing their full potential? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear to find the courage to address this important aspect of health and relationship. Remember, in speaking openly about these topics, we help break down the unnecessary silence that leaves so many feeling isolated in their concerns. I read every comment personally and do my best to respond with additional guidance when needed. This community we're building together is a safe space to discuss topics that matter deeply to our well-being without judgment or shame. If you found value in today's video, I'd be honored if you join our elderly Healthy Wisdom family by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Every week, we share tested wisdom that helps you thrive in your golden years, information that mainstream health outlets often overlook or dismiss. We explore natural approaches to everything from joint pain to memory enhancement, always with an eye toward honoring the whole person, body, mind, heart, and spirit. Our approach isn't about fighting against aging, but about embracing this stage of life with all the wisdom, connection, and yes, pleasure that it can hold. Next week, we'll be discussing how specific movement practices can enhance the benefits of these circulation-boosting fruits, gentle exercises you can do even with joint concerns or limited mobility. You won't want to miss these simple techniques that multiply the effects we've discussed today. Before I go, I want to leave you with a thought that has guided my work with seniors for more than 2 decades. Aging doesn't have to mean declining. It can mean refining, like a fine wine that develops deeper, more complex flavors over time. Our capacity for connection, for joy, for sensual pleasure can actually deepen with age when properly nourished. The fruits we've discussed today are more than just food. They're an invitation to reclaim aspects of yourself that you may have been told to surrender to time. They're permission to continue growing, exploring, and connecting intimately for all your days. With nature's wisdom and the courage to nurture all aspects of your health, including those rarely discussed in doctors' offices, your best years may still be ahead of you. The most meaningful connections, the most present moments, the most profound intimacy might be waiting just around the corner. Thank you for spending this time with me today. It's a privilege to share this journey with you. Until next time, this is Elderly Healthy Wisdom, wishing you vibrant health and meaningful connections at every age. Remember, you deserve to thrive, not just survive, in your golden years. And sometimes the key to thriving might be as simple as the fruits on your table and the courage to reach for your partner's hand once again.